Hey everybody, and welcome back to The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. In this episode, we're going to be conquering the 5th dungeon in the game, which is the Fire Temple, which is a difficult and easy dungeon at the same time. The thing about this dungeon is if you miss one thing, it's an absolute pain. So you know how I said the Forest Temple is a lot of backtracking? This temple doesn't, which is nice, but the big problem is if you miss one small key, or like you miss a Goron or something, the entire temple becomes a confusion because you don't get the compass and the dungeon map until pretty, oddly late into the dungeon. So it can be a pain to complete. I just thought the fan came on. I hope that's not going to be annoying. But yeah, this is Darunia. You can skip his dialogue. He's got nothing important to say. Just about the dragon, which is basically the boss fight. Which is a cool way to foreshadow. You read it if you'd like, but I'm not interested in reading his dialogue. But he basically tells you the objective of the temple, which is to rescue all of the Gorons. Here's our first one. Every Goron has a small key, or I guess a key behind them, and they'll always give you a hint if you speak to them. I'm fairly certain you have to speak to them, but I can 100% be wrong where you could just leave them. But yeah, your objective, save them, and then you get a small key, and you can continue on. And this is where the frustration of the dungeon comes in, and it's in the fact that if you miss a Goron, like let's say you just go the other way, it can be really annoying to figure out what you're actually supposed to do, and then it's really frustrating and annoying. There's 4 gold skulltulas in this dungeon, so not as many as the other one, and I think there's actually 5. But every single one of them is super annoying to get, and is an absolute pain. Anyway, open up the door with the key we got from the Goron. We're going to go this way in a sec, but we're going to start by going in this direction, because we don't have a key to open up the other place. This is also where we're going to get our first gold skulltula. Ignoring the block of time for now, we're coming back to that in a second. But first of all, we're going to go save this Goron, who's just inside of here. So there we go. That's our second Goron out of like 7 or something. There's a lot of Gorons. Are you releasing me? Thank you. And he tells you about how you can break certain walls with bombs, which makes sense, but he's not talking about just cracked walls. He's talking about like secret walls. And there's a couple that can be really confusing to open because they're in really weird spots. But anyway, we're going to continue on. We're going to come to the block of time, which is kind of important. As it's how we get gold skulltulas. This is the only. There's a couple blocks of time like this where, like this one doesn't just disappear; it teleports down so we can climb up on it. And there's a couple like this, so just be mindful of when you see these. That honestly, every time you see a block of time, even if it's not in a place that interrupts you, just play it because it might be important for a later dungeon. And now we're introduced to a couple enemies, flying blocks and like-likes. Ignore the like-like, it's the worst enemy in the game. Anyone who's played a 2D game knows exactly what these things are. Basically, they can swallow you and they can take all of your belongings, and they're really annoying to fight. So if they would swallow you, they would take your shield and your tunic, and then they basically unequip them, and it's just quite frustrating to deal with them. So we can grab another gold skulltula, which is the first of 5. I think there's 5. Pretty sure there's 5. I know the locations of all of them, but yeah, there's 5. And there's another one in basically an identical room like that. By the way, don't worry about, I'll show you. You can run on lava. You'll take a little bit of damage, but it's a quarter of a heart, and it's not very constant. If you didn't have the red tunic, you would take a lot of damage, but we do have the red tunic, so we don't. Now, throw a bomb on this wall. You'll know if a wall can be broken by just hitting it, and depending on the sound it makes, it will it makes a different sound if it's bombable, and that makes a lot of sense if you listen to the hints that Goron gave you. And actually, these hints are surprisingly useful. Like here, I'll just read this one. There are switches in this temple that you have to strike to activate, but you can also use the Goron's special crop to do the job. That's a pretty important tip for the next couple puzzles. which I'll show you in a sec. But this is the next small key. Very nice. This is the one where I played the temple for the first time. I never could find, and it really annoyed me because it doesn't make a lot of sense, but you just bomb this wall. And it seems kind of obvious at first glance, but if you're not paying a ton of attention, it's pretty easy to miss, so just be mindful of that. We're going to head up here, and we're going to go through this locked door, which will bring us to this little fences. Now, something important to note, you can climb these fences. Oh, you can hookshot to them. I guess some of these fences can't be hookshotted to, and some can. I'm not 100% sure how you tell if they can or can't be hookshotted to, but you'll kind of know once you encounter them. Oh, I guess if you hookshot you can't climb? I'm not really sure. It's a little bit confusing, but we're going to climb up. Thankfully, this isn't Twilight Princess, so your climbing speed is not -7, and you can actually go up. And then you got some keys, which just get rid of them. And there are some hearts over there if you're interested, and some more keys. And then there's a block here, which we're actually going to have to push. So we're going to do that, which will block the fire, and will create like an elevator we can jump on. I don't think this would work, but it's Zelda logic, so whatever. For some reason, a stream of fire can push you up like an elevator. But we don't ask questions. And this is why you needed that other key we got. So we're gonna head through, which will bring us to the puzzle that has these switches and a new type of enemy. I'm not really fire slugs, whatever they're called, but they're super easy to deal with. Just hit them a bunch. They're not complicated at all. They just don't take damage while they have fire. If you hit them once, the fire goes out, and they're super easy to deal with. But this is the switch we were talking about, and this is important because actually, am I doing this right? I believe I am, but I'm just gonna climb up to make sure. Yeah, you can't. So I am doing this right. You can't climb up this thing. Yeah, sorry, I completely forgot there is a little metal wall here. But basically how this works is you're not gonna want to activate the switch because it's a timed switch. So what that means is if you just press it, it doesn't do anything. You have to hit it, and then you have to be super fast to enable. Yeah. So okay, that's important to note. If the block is just by itself, you can't climb it. But if it's knocked down slightly, so in that little crevice on the ground, you can climb it. So anyway, we're going to drop down here because it's kind of just easier. And we're going to take out a bomb, and we're going to drop it. And what that's going to do is that's going to blow it up. It didn't blow it up. Okay, well, that's annoying. I guess I can just show you like this. We're going to take a bomb, and we're going to throw it. And it's going to activate. It's not going to activate the switch. I keep missing. The gist is pretty simple. You're going to drop a bomb on the switch, which will activate the switch, which will allow this, there we go, which will let this firewall go away, but be careful because it doesn't last forever, and you just gotta jump up and climb up. It's like the sink or something is on in the background. And we're gonna head here and through this door, which will bring us to the maze area, which is a fairly important area. It's pretty simple. Ignore the switch on the top for now, but we're just gonna run through. And I believe, yeah, there's where we use a small key. Here is where we are going. Here we are. But before we do that, I'm just gonna grab this gold Scoutula because it's it's this wall. Yeah, so as you can see, that wall makes a really odd sound, and if we blow it up, yeah, it gets exploded, and there's a gold Scoutula, which we can take out. So we're gonna do that. Very nice, and then we're gonna go back to this little opening you saw initially, and we're gonna grab our next small key, which is just locked behind a Goron. Right here. So here's another one. That's our fourth small key. Are you releasing me? Am I free to go? Yada yada yada. I'll give you another hint. I think, not really sure what that hint actually was. Doesn't really matter. Again, I do advise reading the Goron hints because they're actually kind of helpful. But if you already know what you're doing, there's no reason to. They're like the only hints in this game that I actually advise reading because this dungeon has a lot of obscure mechanics. And that's the other thing. This dungeon can have you just stuck on a single part of the dungeon for 20 minutes, and then other parts of the dungeon are super easy. And reading the hints will really help with that. Don't they hit me? No. And here's our next Goron, which we gotta activate. And he gives you another hint, like, I'll tell you a secret, there are doors that fall down, you gotta bomb them. That's another not important hint, because you can kind of figure that out by yourself, but it's a hint nonetheless. And again, it's a kind of a useful one. It gives you a hint, and it kind of tells you, oh, this is coming, just be wary of it. Now, where is that door? There's a door somewhere here, I just gotta find it. Where is the door? I think it's right here. It is not right here. It is. So the locked door we initially couldn't go in, now we can, now that we've got the 2 small keys. Make sure you pick up the gold Skulltula as well. I'm actually going to jump across for some hearts. Now, I'm not... Oh yeah, if you fall, you'll just be teleported back to the entrance. Now, I'm not 100% certain as to what this eye does again. Oh, I didn't even notice that. We're going to go in here first because that's kind of important. But it's where we get the map, which you're going to kind of want. Because again, this dungeon can be confusing for all the wrong reasons. And the main reason for that is both the dungeon map and the compass are in really obscure spots that are just annoying to grab. So make sure you pick them up because it will help a lot. And we're going to go through the next key. And we're going to run here. And there's going to be like a little firewall that appears. It's incredibly easy to avoid. Yeah, there's like a wall of fire and you're going to want to run away from it. If it touches you, it doesn't actually do damage. It just teleports you back to the starting area, kind of like if you went in a loading zone. Or not loading zone. Like, let's say, you know when you fall off like a big ledge and you're teleported to the bottom. It's basically the same. Ignore that locked door. We're not going in there yet. But this is the higher section of where we initially were. Also, ignore this, the ground. We will be accessing it in a second. I also, just looking, I think... Oh, wait, we missed something. That was close. We're going to activate this switch, but I almost forgot one of the most important parts of this dungeon, and it's why we picked up the Scarecrow song in the first place. So, again, you always want Navi to not be with you, which Navi is with us, but I don't know if we can... I don't know if... I think it will work. We're going to play the Scarecrow song. Yeah, there we go. And our friend is going to appear, who we're going to grapple onto. This is what Navi was going crazy about, and then there's like there's a platform which you can grapple onto, and it's going to bring you up to a secret area which has 200 rupees and 2 gold Skulltulas that we're going to grab. So it's definitely worth going to, but it's not a required area, and it's incredibly easy to miss. And out of all the dungeons, it's probably the most obscure thing in any of the dungeons, because I mean it's so easy to miss. This is also important. These little, you can't hookshot to these, but you could hookshot to the other ones. So just be mindful of that some of them can't be hookshotted to and some can. And I'm not 100% certain, but I'm fairly sure there's another gold Skulltula up here. Yeah, we can hear it. Now this is important. So we're going to hit this switch. Oh, there's the gold Skulltula, which we'll come back to. And it's going to activate a little chest, which we're going to run to at full speed. Don't go up the wall there, because you can't. And it's going to contain 200 rupees. If you fail, you can kind of just try again, so don't be too worried. But, oh, come on. That was close. Make sure you grab the gold Skulltula as well. Don't miss it. And the 200 rupees, if you're up here, I recommend grabbing it because it's going to kind of set you on rupees for a while. Unlike games like Twilight Princess, I keep going back to Twilight Princess, but there's also in the Wind Waker, there's a couple heart pieces that you need rupees for. This game doesn't have any like that, so rupees aren't that useful. But as you can see, 200 rupees, very nice. And I'm just looking around because I'm fairly certain there's a door somewhere, but I might be wrong. I think I'm wrong. I think we just continue back the way we came. Again, I'm probably tripping because I don't come to this area a lot in randomizers unless I'm doing a max setting rando. And I don't usually do max setting randos because they take so long. That's actually what I'm thinking of doing after this series is done. I think the next thing I'm gonna do is some old school randomizers, max setting, everyone's favorite activity. Make sure you don't fall to the one below, because then you gotta come all the way back up, which is kind of annoying. And we're gonna ignore this for a second because we actually we have to go speak to the Goron back here. Don't fall off, because we have to get another key. Which the Goron has just despawned, apparently. Or I guess he just left, probably. It takes 4 arrows? Are you joking? Yeah, the Goron just left. He initially was here. I guess he probably despawned, because we entered a different area after opening up the cage, and the game's not going to waste memory, but that's still a loss of a hint. Not that we need it, but, you know, it's a hint. So make sure, I guess if you wanted to hear the hint, make sure you don't flip the switch before. I guess kind of decent to know. Run, ooh, don't fall off. Run back. Oh, don't run backwards. Kill this guy. We just shot like 40 arrows, oh my goodness. And bomb this floor, because I mean, pretty obvious that this is a bombable floor. I'm fairly certain that's everything we can do. I'm going to drop down here. If there wasn't something you missed, you can come back up, which is helpful. We're going to run back here, which is going to be another Goron. And this is a little bit important. It's not important, but you know in the... Oh my goodness, the fan is going crazy in the background. This is initially one of the areas where there was a Goron, but we couldn't get it. This was where the block puzzle was. It's kind of gone back to its original position though. But we're not going to go back up that way because that's just going to be a pain. And I might stop the recording for a bit because this fan is going to ruin everything. And we're back. The fan is turned off and has resumed my dreams of recording. Anyway, now that you've obtained the 2 keys, we can backtrack back to the room with the... Oh, come on! Well, it doesn't actually matter because we're going to this room anyway, but normally you would jump back in the room you originally came from. Oh, come on. No way. Well, I guess I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes while I get back to the original position. That's just unfortunate. In the exact same position we just left off. So yeah, if you fall all the way back to the first room. It's pretty quick after you open up that Goron switch though, because you come right back to this position. But this is honestly better than where we initially were. Don't you dare knock me off. No, Link, get up. Link, thank you. You are in possibly the worst position of any enemy in the entire game. Anyway, we're going to go back to where we originally were. So we're going to backtrack all the way to where the firewall was, because there was a locked door which we couldn't go to initially. But now that we have some small keys, we can. Please don't hit me. Thank you. So we're going to run back here. Pretty sure you can make this jump. Yes, you can. And we're going to go through here, which will bring us to another Goron. Or sorry, this isn't a Goron. This is just the other side of the temple, I guess. Now this area is really important because we're going to come back here in a sec So do not, and I really do mean do not forget about this place. Can you buzz off? Thank you. Because that's important. Navi is doing an actual good hint. And this is basically how this works. It's like a little firewalls that appear. You can basically just ignore them. We're going to grab the compass, though. And like I said, again, the compass is in a really weird spot where it's super easy to miss, even though it's really important in this dungeon. I'm not really sure what the design choice there was, but it is what it is. So this is something you should 100% pick up, because this is going to really help you with this dungeon. As you can see, though, there's not a lot of chests in our direct area. And we're actually going to turn back because there's a couple things we gotta do. Now, these are not actual doors, as you can see. They're smash doors, whatever you want to call them. Ignore this area. Ignore this thing for now. It's really important, so we'll come back to it. But and that's what one of the Goron's hints was, where you can break down the doors with the Goron special crop. Which the Goron special crop is bombs, by the way, if you didn't know what that hint was. That's not the way we can go. That's also... Oh, come on. I just want to go to the door, please. Please let me. Ah! Man, what the heck? Oh, come on. Just let me around, please. No. Basically, you're going to make your way through. Oh, finally. To this locked door, which is going to be a mini boss? Question mark? No, this is a... This isn't the mini boss. This is a Goron we'll save in a bit. But for now, we're going to completely ignore him. And we're going to go through the other side, which is important. We're going to go around here, and then there's a fire key, which I'm going to kill. Now, this is another timed button. It's super easy. You just might have to repeat it a couple times. But you're just going to run in this exact little order. Super easy. It gets us over. And that's some bombs and hearts, which I'm actually going to grab because you need bombs, because this is a mini-boss. And hints, hearts are nice, but not too... Oh, yeah, this is a breaky door. Right. So any of these doors, just bomb. Your sword doesn't work. You gotta bomb it. And we're gonna go through, which is our first mini-boss and one of the most annoying mini-bosses in the game. Basically, this guy is gonna do like this fire dance, and you gotta give him a bomb. Now, fighting these guys is a bit odd. You want to hit him once with your sword, and then you want to jump attack. Because the way this boss works is it's not how much damage you've dealt, it's how many times you hit them. Which is how a decent amount of bosses work. Where it's just how many times you've hit the boss, rather than how much damage you've done. So by doing this, you can do 3 damage instead of just 2, which is kind of helpful. It's a super, super trivial mini-boss. Depending on its color, I think that is equal to how fast it's going to be. But yeah, and with this method, you can do it in 2 rounds instead of, I think, like, otherwise it takes like 4 or something. And this will get rid of the flames, which we can use, which I think will carry us up. Yes, it will. This is like an elevator thing. Which, again, don't ask me how it works, but it's an elevator. And this will bring us to the boss item. The dungeon item. Well, almost there. Ignore this switch for now. Same thing, we're going to use a bomb to activate it. We're going to run back, we're going to take out a bomb, and we're going to drop it. This will activate the switch. And then we can climb up. This firewall is way shorter than the other one. So, is it? It might not be. This puzzle's super easy, you already know what to do. And this will bring us to the boss item. Yes, this will bring us to the boss item. And this is a really cool item. It's the Bigoron Hammer. Anyone who's played a rando knows it is the savior. Now, don't fall down. This brings you back to the first area, and that's just really annoying. But this basically gets rid of the firewall, and you can... Oh, yeah, yikes. Please don't fall. No, fire keys, please. Please, my pride. I must. Thank you. Okay, so it's not difficult. Just be cautious, because you can fall. Just don't fall. And you got the Megaton Hammer. Sorry, not Bigoron Hammer, Megaton Hammer. Megaton Hammer can do everything a bomb can do, but better. Except, I guess, throw. We're going to take it out. I'm going to equip it, and I'm actually going to put you here. There we go. And that's, I don't think, there's no gold scutzlas or any secrets in this room. which is cool. We are gonna grab those hearts though, because I desperately need them. Oh! Well, I just got tricked. But this is basically how the Megaton Hammer works. You're just gonna hit it with the Megaton Hammer, and it's gonna knock down switches. It's similar with this statue thing. If you remember the very first the very first area, like where we enter the temple, there was a statue like that. We're gonna go smash that one. And what you're gonna want to do immediately is you're gonna want to run over to those boxes, and you're gonna want to break them. I'm kidding. Don't do that. That's gonna ruin the puzzle. Oh, thank you for the hearts. We're gonna hit this, which will create a little stairway, and there's a blue switch, which, if you remember, Jabu Jabu's belly is activated with one of these switches. So we're gonna run down with one of the boxes, and we're just gonna drop it on the platform, which will enable us to go through the door. It's very handy. And then we're gonna hit this thing, which I believe, yeah, it's just gonna drop this down. Which we're just gonna fall down. And now, this is important. We're not gonna do it yet. You're gonna wanna ignore it. But we're gonna go through here, because we're gonna backtrack fairly far into the dungeon. You're gonna wanna start okay. Play the Song of Time, because there's a switch behind this. There's a switch behind this. It's another rusty switch. The same with the switch out there. You couldn't activate it unless you had the Megaton Hammer. You gotta hit it. They're like these little rusty switches. They're way easier to see. Yes, Navi, I already did this puzzle, I know. They're way easier to see on... they're much easier to see on the 3D remake than on the original. On the original, they kind of just look like switches that had a really weird color. So you kind of didn't... It was a bit annoying to do the puzzle. But here, we can pretty obviously see what they actually are. Now, after we get this small key, we're going to backtrack all the way to the beginning of the dungeon, because now we can get the big key and fight the boss, who's... It's an incredibly cool idea of a boss, but it's not executed the best. Now, don't just travel all the way down. This is important. If you don't hit this, you're not going to be able to access the boss, and you're not going to be able to do the dungeon. Like, you're going to have to come all the way back up, and this is what I did on my first playthrough. But if you just drop down, boom, now we can access the boss, after we've got the boss key, of course. And we're going to do that by backtracking. And there's one more gold skull Tula we have to grab, which will take our total to 5. And it's this right here. So we're going to smash the tower down. It has to be done from the side, by the way, because you're hitting them to the side, I guess, but, you know. We're going to open this door, which will bring us to another room with a bunch of enemies, and you're just going to take down the enemies. Pretty easy, straightforward. I still can't do the quick spin. Apparently it's supposed to be easier on this version, but I can't do the quick spin. I've never really understood how. The quick spin is the highest DPS in the game, if you're wondering. It's even better. Actually, sorry, the fastest DPS in the game is this. Are we using the hammer? I didn't even know you could do it like that. But this is the fastest DPS. You can also do it with the hammer, which is pretty funny. But it's how you do the most amount of damage. There's still an enemy in this room. What are you doing over there? This will open up the switch. And we can continue on, which will bring us also to a gold skull Tula in this room. Yeah, so we're definitely going to pick this up. But instead of fighting all the enemies... Please don't eat me. Grab the token. Oh, come on. Great, that's annoying. So it's going to eat you. I guess I'll show it off. It eats you, it takes your tunic and your shield, and it's just super annoying. And if you don't kill it and move on to the other room, you have lost them, and you're going to have to buy them from a merchant for a couple thousand gold, which is just super annoying. So make sure you equip them so you don't die. It's just really annoying to not... Again, same mini-boss, same incredibly boring mini-boss that we're gonna take on. Just give it a bomb. I missed. You joking? Okay, something I gotta do. So let's do that now before I die. Is we got to, yeah, you're gonna go the correct way. So same thing we did. We're just gonna, but instead we're gonna use X to throw a bomb, so we don't completely miss like we did previously. Hit him. Thank you. Same thing. You just make sure you jump attack. You can't get another hit in, unfortunately. Ow, that was rude. Give him a bomb. Hit him. It's the same thing. It's really easy. It's not challenging at all. And we took him down. Which will open up this little thing, which gives you a chest with some bombs on it. Completely unnecessary to grab, but we're gonna do it anyway. So grab your bombs. You do not need bombs for the boss fight. All you need is the Megaton hammer, because we're gonna play Stompy Mole. Sounds pretty funny to say. And this is our final Goron to rescue, and the boss key. So hello, sir. I wonder what your hint is. Oh, I see. Big Brother Rooney asked me to wreck you. I owe you big time. Please help, Big Brother. Oh, it's just not even a hint. Okay. Yep. I assumed Rooney has eaten by this point, in all honesty, but whatever. So we're going to open up this chest, which will give you the boss key, or big key. Which is it in this game? Boss key. The big key kind of just sounds goofy. I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of like boss key more. And this will bring us back to the area in the entrance that I told you didn't have to go through. And that's why you couldn't do anything back there. But now, we're going to be fighting the boss. And I'm actually going to leave that for the other video, because this video is going to be like half an hour at this point. But this is where the boss fight is, and we will do that in the next episode, so I hope you guys stick around for that. If you did make it to this point, thank you, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace out.